Hello, this is Don Milne. I'm making this recording to show you how you can access information from the application for Headstone or marker that will be very helpful in knowing what to include in your stories. So today we're going to share samples for the Army Air Forces, the Navy, and the Marines. They're each a little bit different in the type of information they contain. So let's start first with a record for someone from the Army. So it's called the U.S. Headstone Application for Military Veterans, and you'll usually find this searching for the name on Ancestry.com. Not everyone has this document. This was created by the military from an application that was filled out by family members to have the remains of their loved one returned to the United States. So here is the Headstone application for Bartlett Avery. And you can see the information that we mainly are interested in is this section here where it is telling the regiment, state, organization, and division. And we're interested in knowing what the infantry regiment is. Sometimes it'll also list the division, but more often it'll have the infantry regiment. So this is the 335th Infantry Regiment that he is in. And that means he was in the 84th Infantry Division, so you could Google 84th Infantry Division if you cannot find anything for the 335th Infantry Regiment and get some details about what unit he was in. His date of death may be useful if you combine that with information about his regiment. We know he was in Company A, so if he was in Company A, that's the 1st Battalion. Each regiment had 3 battalions, and each battalion was divided into 4 companies by letter. So A, B, C, and D are 1st Battalion. Then you have E, F, G, and H are 2nd Battalion. Then you have I. There's no J because it kind of looked like an I. And then K, L, M are the 3rd Battalion. So if you have some reports that are saying what Company A was doing on April 6th, you can also use that information in the story about Bartlett Avery. So pretty useful information. The enlistment date is here too if you don't have that somewhere else. So some good information all on one place. Super helpful in writing stories. This one here is Matthias Donnert. He's in the Army Air Forces. So the most useful information we'd want to have from this document is here in his U.S. regiment, organization, or division. So because he's in the Air Forces, it's going to show usually a bomb squadron and a bomb group. So the bomb squadron is a smaller group, smaller unit than the bomb group. And then the bomb group eventually rolls up into the Army Air Force. So the most famous one was the 8th Air Force. And so when you're doing research, you can probably Google 11th Bombardment Group and find information. You may get lucky and you can find out on April 5th, 1942, the day that he died, was there a mission? Sometimes you can find mission reports. So that would be super helpful. Also, you'll find on these applications an enlistment date. Sometimes you have enlistment records, but if you don't, this would tell you when they enlisted. And of course, you can make sure you're looking at the right person because you have their serial number here and their rank, state they're from. A lot of useful information. So there's an example from someone in the Army Air Forces. Now let's look at a sample from the Marines. So Sam Huey Scott, he was in the Marines. Marines are kind of like the Army as far as the designations. They're usually going to list the regiment, and sometimes it won't say regiment, it'll just say 7th Marine, and then the 1st Marine Division. So this one, they did show the division. They don't always do that, but if you know the regiment, it's easy to Google and find out what the division is. He's also in a Company H, and it shows here that he died on the 26th October 1942. So if you're looking where the 7th Marine Regiment was in October 1942, you'll soon find out that it was at Guadalcanal, and there may even have been a particular battle on October 26th. You can know what battle he was in when he died. So that's good information that's available from this application for headstone or marker that you may not be able to find elsewhere. Okay, last one. We're going to do a record from the Navy. Navy is probably the least likely that you'll have an application for headstone or marker, mainly because if there was a loss, there was sometimes a body being returned. They could still get a marker, but oftentimes they didn't request that. The other thing that's unique about the Navy is sometimes they just said he was in the Navy and they didn't give a lot of details. So you may not find information about that. But in this case, we do. We know he was in Torpedo Squadron 17, or the nomenclature is called VT-17. So if you were to Google VT-17, you might find a website about that torpedo squadron. And he was on the carrier USS Bunker Hill. So you can find information about that. The day he died was May 23rd, 1944. So there was probably some engagement that the USS Bunker Hill was involved in on that date. So that you can include in your story because it was related to when he died. Sometimes you usually want to look at some of the writing on here and see if there's extra information that wasn't necessarily part of here but been added. So here this person wrote down Air Medal. So that's an award that he got. So you'd want to include that in his story that you do. So super helpful information, can get you a lot of content for you to write your stories. So we've reviewed the 4 different application for headstones, the little difference between them for Army, Air Forces, Navy, and Marines. That's all you need to know. So good luck and enjoy your research.